Today we're going to do a guided drawing, which just means that I'm going to draw and you can try and copy along and follow along with me. Our subject today is cactus. It seems very popular right now. We will add some paints to these when we are all done. So I hope you enjoy it. And remember, you can pause the video and slow it down. So today's lesson, our guided drawing a cactus. I'm going to have a pencil, my eraser, I'll have my paints for later on, my glass of water, and my napkin. So first what we're going to do is we're going to set up our picture. In previous videos, we've talked about foreground, midground, background. Rarely do I want to start. I never really want to start anything right on the very, very bottom or my subject. I like to go bring my audience into my picture. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a ground just to kind of establish where my cactus is sitting. Okay. And so first what we want to do is we want to draw a nice big cactus. And when I do draw with you, I try and use shapes in letters to try and represent things. So my first one I'm going to do is just I think almost all of them are big U's or upside down U's, domes. So I'm going to start off with those short, small cactuses you might have seen at the very beginning. So I'm just going to set things up before I do any details. I'm going to do one dome right here. I'm going to have a little one right there. I might have a little one popping off on it. They have the cactus, the small round ones that grow up on the ground, kind of have little baby ones shooting off of them. My next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a nice tall one now. So this one's going to be quite a little bit like this, but like a long U. So I'm going to go right over here. So this tall one's going to be right behind that one. And I'm going to go up. And if yours looks different from mine, that is great. If you have another idea of how you want your cactus, you're fine. And then it's going to stop right at the top because it's behind all of these guys right here. So there is the base of our cactus. All right, now we're going to add some arms onto our cactus. And those are just going to shoot out right from the sides of our cactus. They usually aren't right next to each other. They aren't like two arms that stick out. One sometimes will come up, and I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to draw another U. And then as I come down, it's going to curve and get attached to there. And then this one's going to come over and become attached to there. And then my next arm, I'm going to have that arm, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to have it come right from the middle. So I'm going to do the U right down here. And instead, I'm going to have it go in front of that cactus. And it's going to come out right there. And that's where I'll take my eraser. I'm going to try it, see what it looks like. There we go. So it looks like he's almost about to dance. Now for our texture and our lines. Cactus sometimes, they have wavy lines. Some cactus have like little tiny spikes. We're going to do this big main one. We're going to do the lines. So all I'm going to do is going to pretend there's a point right here at the top. And all of my lines are going to come from there. And it's going to go down. And remember, that's behind. So that's going to go through. And then the next line comes from that one point. And I stop and skip it and go down. And then I'm going to stop and skip it. And I'm just going to keep on doing that until I feel like I've got enough lines inside there. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Remember, there's that point right at the top. I'm going to go down. And this one's going to go around. Follows the shape of the arm of the cactus. And this one's going to go right down the middle. And same thing with this last one. So he's going to go right around the edge. And he's going to stop right around the edge. And he's going to stop. And then right down the middle. And he stops. These guys down here, I think this one, he's going to have some spikes. So again, just like we did with the tops of these, they kind of start from almost like a seed and they bellow out. think of how a pumpkin's lines all attached to that stem if this was a pumpkin. So it's almost the same way. So I'm going to start right here. All of my lines are going to start right from that point, and they're just going to curve out. So I'm going to curve out here. And this is almost going to have that pumpkin look line, and then this one's going to go here. And then this one's going to go here. And this one's going to have little dots in it. It's going to like, almost like they're kind of like spikes, I guess. So it's just going to be a point, almost like a V. And then this one's going to have it going. I'm going to have a couple spikes going off there, up there. And this one's even going to get some spikes coming off out there. And then this one right here, I'm just going to put little dots on this one. Okay, so we have all our cactus up front on that level. And what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to go ahead and draw maybe another hill back here. It's out in the desert. Maybe I have another cactus back here. So if my cactus is in front, this one's going to be really large. This cactus back here, I'm going to draw the same thing, almost like a U, upside down U. So he's going to get a little bit smaller back here. So another U, and another curved U. And then maybe this has a bunch of these round ones. Actually, I'm going to make those just a little bit better. I don't like the way they came out. See, Miss Henry makes mistakes. So that comes down. There we go. I like the bump. So all the cactus like to live together, I think. And maybe we just put some shadows. Later on when we color and paint, we'll add those in. And then why don't we do some clouds up in our sky? It's usually a nice blue sky with our desert and our green cactus. And we can do some fun clouds. We could draw a nice big straight line and then just start doing bumps on top. So I just do a straight line, and this one's going to come out from behind the cactus, and it just does a bump. I'm going to do one more right over here, right here. And he's a bump. Okay, we are ready to paint. I did draw this on watercolor paper, so this will hold up really well. I didn't do the lines back here. I figured it's far enough away that we wouldn't see them that close, but I will add some color when I get to painting them. So I'm gonna go off camera, set my paints up, and we'll be back. Okay, so you can see here is, I started to paint it. I painted my background blue and purple. Some places I went heavy, some places I went light. I did use a little bit bigger brush. If you can get a bigger brush, it kind of works out a lot. I mean, I used a big piece of paper. You don't have to do a big project either. You can always do small little projects. But if you are painting a really big area, sometimes it's better to have a bigger brush, whereas smaller areas, you want a smaller brush. This brush will work great for all the other places. So here we will go ahead and start doing some background. So I'll paint on camera for a little while, just to kind of show you a few little different techniques. I think I'm going to go ahead and start painting some of my cactus. And just with that, I want to show you like just mixing some colors. So I am going to pull this off so I don't get this all messy, and I'm just going to mix some colors in front of you for a few minutes. So I'm wiping off my brush. I've dipped it, wipe it twice, go into my green. And since I'm using the cactus, I want to do all sorts of different shades of green. I want to think about lights and darks. We're going to add some shadow and shade onto this. So lights, I should say shades and tints onto this. So one side's going to be light and the other side's going to get a little bit darker. And then to achieve that, there's two ways we can do it. we have our color wheel, and it follows the lines of what it is in a rainbow. So whatever is opposite of my green on the is opposite of green on the color wheel is going to give me a muted color. It's going to dull it out. It's going to make it look opposite, and it also gives it a little bit of a brown. So opposite of the color wheel, or its complementary color, is going to be red. So if I just take a couple swipes of red and put it in with that green, it's going to change that green a little bit. And I'm not sure if you can see it. I'll do a little bit more. And it gives it a different little color there. And I'll test it on the back just to kind of see. So you can see what that green starts to look like. Okay, so I have regular green. Now I have a little bit of a muted green. I'm going to do some yellow green. Let's put that one over here. There was already green in that one. A little bit more yellow. And a tiny bit green. And then I can even add maybe a little blue into there. I think mixing colors might be one of my favorite things. I've got a bunch of different cactus, so I've got to make sure I have lots of greens going on here. All right, so I've got those greens. I can even add, take some green, and there was purple in here, so that's definitely going to make it look different. But I'm going to add some brown into this one. Wipe my brush off. A little brown, and there's another green. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think I'm going to go back in. I think I'm going to make another yellow green. I think that one got a little too muted. I want this one to look almost yellow. So you can see how I've mixed up all these different colors. And I'm just going to put a tiny bit of green in there. That way it's like a lime green. All right, so now I'm going to start painting my cactus. I'm going to put that right like that. Hopefully you can still see it. I'll check, make sure, yeah. There we go. All right, so pick a side where your sun's going to be. I'm going to say that my sun, or my point of light, is going to be on this side. So things that are on this side are going to be light, and then it's going to get darker as it moves away. So in saying that, I am going to go ahead and just paint this middle, the regular green. And I'm only going to do one cactus in front of you. I'll do this big main one so you can see it. So this main middle, I'm going to go ahead and put a little water on my brush so I can spread it out. So this main middle one, I'm going to keep it green. Just regular green right from the dish. And then I'm going to start playing around with all my other colors. So remember, all right, as it gets closer to that side, we're going to get a little bit lighter. So now I'm going to go into that yellow green. I'm going to put that on the farthest one. So that way, by the time I get to that middle green that I create, or the middle green that's the true green right from the palette, I'll mix those two up a little bit so they blend in with one another. So I'm going to take a little bit of water so I can spread that out a little bit more. And all I'm doing is going back into the water to get some on my brush, and it helps spread that paint out. I'm going to go back in just a little bit more yellow. Go right along the edge. All right, and then that one in between is going to be both of them. It's going to be a little of the yellow, it's going to be a little bit of the green, but you'll see how it goes from very, very light to very, very dark. Get that a little bit darker. I think I went too light, but I'll get it a little bit darker. Okay, and then as I get further away, let's go to another green. Oh, this is a nice dark, dark green. That's going to be on this side. I can tell already. That's going to be the darkest one. right, so as soon as I finish this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take one of these other greens that I made. That's going to be the next one, and as it gets lighter to darker, this one's going to be a little bit of the two. Add a little bit of water so I can spread it out some more. So you can see how it's starting to look. My dark to my light. So the value that you see in this picture, value has to do with lights, tints and shades. So I've got my shade on one side and my tints on the other side. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that's how I set up my colors. I'm going to shut off the video for a few minutes and go ahead and finish up my painting. Here is my painting, and now I'm going to trace it. Okay, here's my finished project. I've traced it all with a black marker. And just realize I like to trace mine with a black marker. Doesn't mean you have to trace yours with a black marker or a black crayon or a black pencil. That's just what I like to do. You can see I added my, with my black marker, that's where I added all my pointy things that come out of a cactus. Oh, I forgot to add some in here. Maybe I'll go back in later and do that. I like to do my colors really, really light. You might like to do yours really dark. It is completely up to you. I hope you liked this guided lesson and another little painting lesson for us to do. And until next time, have fun. And if you finish one and would like to send it to me, go right ahead. I'd love to see any work that you guys have done. Enjoy. Bye-bye.